Yo, what is good, everyone? And welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Nhl Dfs slate for Wednesday, November 9th. We got ourselves a 4-game slate here tonight, where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite value plays. And as always, we'll wrap up this video talking a little prize picks. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals. We got all 4 of these games coming in with an implied total of 6.5 goals tonight. Definitely some high-scoring shootout potential. And then take a look down here at the Vegas odds, where you can see the Wild, Canucks, Penguins are favored to win. And then this game between the Hurricanes and Panthers is coming in at an even -110 push. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight. First being that first line for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We got Crosby centering Gensel and Rust. Now, there have been very few bright spots for this Penguins team here as of late, but this has certainly been one of them, and it doesn't come as any surprise. This is one of the best lines in the NHL all of last year, and while we did see Rust on the second line to start the season, being that the Penguins are on a 7-game losing streak right now, we're seeing them back up on that first line with Sid and Gensel. And they picked up right where they left off last year, haven't missed a beat. As of today, they rank 8th overall in terms of expected goals per 60, so when they're on the ice, they are dominating, great puck possession skills, and they log big minutes together, not only 5-on-5, but up on that #1 power play as well, so you're getting really strong correlation from these 3. And then another line stack I like building around here tonight is that first line for the Montreal Canadiens. We got Suzuki centering Doc and Caulfield, another really strong correlated line where these guys log big minutes together 5-on-5, and all 3 play up on the #1 power play, and they've played well together this year, especially as of late. In just their past 5 games, they've combined for 9 goals, 13 assists, 22 points, and they have a great matchup to expand on that here tonight at home against the Vancouver Canucks, who have allowed over 3.5 goals per game over their past 5, and have had an abysmal penalty kill that is hit at just a 61.1% rate. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. For those of you who are on Discord, don't be afraid to join the channel. We got people talking NHL and NFL in there, a link in the description below to join. And for those of you who are on Twitter, if you want to give me a follow there, I have been occasionally posting some NHL bets as well. Had ourselves a pretty good night last night. Alright, now diving into some of these individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. First guy I got there is Bo Horvat of the Vancouver Canucks. I don't know if there's a hotter goal scorer in the NHL right now. He's got 8 goals here in his past 5 games. Add 2 assists to that as well. And he has 4+ shots on net in each of his last 5 games, including 5+ in 4 of those games. So he's getting you that 3-point DraftKings bonus on a consistent basis, on top of finding the net on a pretty consistent basis as well. Now, technically, he plays on the third line, but plays up on the #1 power play, and should still log about 19-20+ minutes here tonight in a good matchup against Montreal. I think we could legit stack up any one of these games. You know, this game here in itself, I think, has a lot of high-scoring potential on both sides, being that both teams have not been very great defensively this year. Now, the breakout season continues for the 23-year-old Martin Necas of the Carolina Hurricanes, who's off to a fantastic start to the season. He now has 7 goals, 10 assists through 12 games, which actually leads this entire Carolina Hurricanes team. He's got more points than Aho and Svechnikov, which says quite a bit in itself, and he's built terrific chemistry on that second line with Andrei Svechnikov, both of those guys playing up on the #1 power play. So I like pairing those 2 guys together here tonight, and you could even mix in a Brent Burns with him on the #1 power play. You're then getting exposure to 3 guys who play big minutes, love to shoot the puck, and have multiple point upside against a Florida Panthers team that's a bit banged up right now. Still no Aaron Ekblad, Matthew Tkachuk is still suspended, and looking at their roster right now, I'm not overly concerned for the Hurricanes tonight. I then got Joel Eriksson Ek and Matt Boldy. They're going to highlight these 2 guys together of the Minnesota Wild, both playing on that second line and #1 power play. in a great matchup here tonight against the Anaheim Ducks, who look like one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the NHL to start the season. In fact, they've allowed the most goals per game so far this year at 4.62 and have the league's second worst penalty kill that is hit at just a 63.3% rate. You go look at their game logs here, you go look at moneypuck.com, they are legit being dominated in almost every single game. So I like the Wild in general here tonight, but I have my eye on these two here, especially considering they play big minutes together 5-on-5, play on that number one power play, and actually both of these guys here lead this Wild team in expected goals this year. Boldy at the top was 6.3, Eriksson Ek in second at 5.8, and then their best player sitting in third, Kirill Kaprizov, at 5.2. And then I got Evgeny Kuznetsov there of the Washington Capitals, and I have no issue playing the Capitals here tonight against my Pittsburgh Penguins, who have lost 7 straight games. They've allowed 4.60 goals per game in their past 5. That's the 4th most in the NHL. Only 3 teams allowing more goals, the Anaheim Ducks, St. Louis Blues, and Columbus Blue Jackets. That's not the company you want to be in. Kuznetsov is coming off a really big game as well, where he had 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points against Edmonton, 37.3 DraftKings points. I'm not banking on that here tonight, but it shows you the upside that he has, playing on that first line with Ovechkin and playing on that number one power play. What I would probably do here tonight is pair Kuznetsov with Ovechkin, that always makes sense, and mix in Erik Gustafsson as well at $3,200, being that he's currently playing up on that number one power play with John Carlson on the IR. Now, I do know that John Carlson is skating, so do keep an eye on that. If he's back in the lineup tonight, Gustafsson will be bumped off the number one power play. I still think he's viable, and I'll get to him here in just a few minutes, but that's kind of approach that I like tonight for the Capitals. Now, moving over here to the defensemen, and I name-dropped him earlier, Brent Burns of the Carolina Hurricanes. I like stacking him up on that number one power play tonight with guys like Andrei Svechnikov and Martin Necas. Mix in a Sebastian Aho, I have no problem with that, or even Steven Nason, who's at $4,000, plays down on the 4th line but gets time on that number one power play, kind of parks his ass out front and gets those buried rebound goals. But Burns has been solid on the power play this year. In fact, 6 of his 9 points have come on the PP, and they got a good matchup here tonight against this Florida team that has really slumped here on the penalty kill over their past 5 games, just hitting at a 68.8% rate. That's the 6th worst in the NHL over that stretch of games. Now, I should also mention that no other team has taken more minor penalties this year than the Florida Panthers. They lead with 64, so we should see the Carolina Hurricanes on the power play quite a few times here tonight. Now, being that I do prefer to spend up at the forward position here tonight, I wanted to highlight 3 value defensemen that I think are in play. Now, with this first one here in Kalen Addison of the Minnesota Wild, he is more of a boom-bust type of play, but I love the matchup for the Wild here tonight against the Anaheim Ducks, who have again allowed the league's most goals per game so far this year and have the league's 2nd worst penalty kill. So being that Addison plays up on the number one power play for Minnesota, I like stacking him up with guys like Eriksson Ek and Boldy. Again, more of a boom-bust type of play, but 4 of his 7 points have come on the power play this season. I am admittedly chasing this next play here a little bit with Joel Edmondson of the Montreal Canadiens. He's played just 3 games so far, the last 3 games, after returning from the IR. But in those 3 games, he has racked up 19 block shots. 19! He had 4 in his first game, 8 in his second, and 7 last night against the Detroit Red Wings. That has led to 8.2, 13.6, and 28.9 DraftKings points. So I'm banking on him getting 3+ block shots here again tonight, get us that 3-point DraftKings bonus. Like I said, maybe I am chasing this one a little bit here, but the guy has certainly not been afraid to throw his body in front of that puck in these first 3 games to start his season. Now, I really hope that John Carlson doesn't play for the Washington Capitals tonight. Number 1, because he's playing against my Pittsburgh Penguins, but number 2, and even more so, is because Erik Gustafsson is so cheap here at $3,200, and he's logging around 22+ minutes with Carlson out on that number 1 power play. It's a value play, right, at $3,200. You don't expect much from him, but he showed some really nice upside last game. He actually had 3 power play assists, 1 shot on net, 3 block shots, which led to 26.4 DraftKings points. smashing value at this current price. Let's keep an eye on John Carlson's status here tonight, but if he is out, I love Gustafsson again. I then just got one goaltender on the spreadsheet here today. Man, the goalies are kind of a crapshoot in my opinion. I think any one of these games could turn into a high-scoring shootout. I think any one of these teams could realistically win here tonight. Even the Ducks beating the Wild, it wouldn't shock me. Minnesota has not been the best this year, playing on back-to-back nights. And all these games coming in with an implied total of 6.5. So I do believe there's a case to be made to roster any one of these goaltenders tonight. Now, I went with Antti Raanta. We saw Freddie Anderson get hurt in practice yesterday for the Carolina Hurricanes, so I don't believe he's going to start here tonight. It doesn't sound like it's a serious injury, so keep an eye on that. I guess he very well could start. I kind of hope it's Raanta, though. Freddie has not been good to start the season. Now, the other goaltender I wouldn't mind is John Gibson against Minnesota. Your boom-bust type of play there. You're really hoping he gets 40-plus shots on net against him, like he's kind of seen all year long. But let's get back to Raanta here. He is 3-0-1 to start the season, with a goals allowed average of 2.42 and a save percentage of .905. Not great numbers, but not bad numbers either. And he does have 0.6 goal save above expected. I laugh because that's not very much, but it's certainly better than a negative number. So at $7,600 here, I didn't mind the price. And again, Florida kind of banged up right now, missing two very important players, and Aaron Ekblad and Matthew Tkachuk. So this was the goalie that I landed on. And as always, going to wrap up the spreadsheet here with 3 low-price options or sub-4K forward plays. First guy I got there is Ryan Strome of the Anaheim Ducks, currently playing on that second line with Troy Terry and plays on the number 2 power play. Has kind of found his groove here over the past 5 games, where he's racked up 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points, hitting 13.0, 16.3, and 20.8 DraftKings points in 3 of those 5 games, smashing value at this current price. Next is Jason Zucker there of the Pittsburgh Penguins, currently playing on that second line in number 2 power play. He has 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points in 10 games, and has shown some really solid chemistry playing with Evgeny Malkin. He is more of a boom-bust type of player, but someone that also has 20-plus DraftKings point upside. And then Adam Henrique there getting back to the Anaheim Ducks. He's currently playing up on that first line in number 1 power play. Great opportunity play here considering the price, and he actually has 4 goals here now in his past 4 games, so starting to heat up a little bit. You're hoping that the Ducks can get on the power play a few times here tonight because the Wild penalty kill has really struggled this year, just hitting at a 76.3% rate. And then to wrap up this video here, want to talk a little prize picks with you guys. Had ourselves a good night last night, ended up going 2-0. Unfortunately, Carter Hart ended up getting sick. Otherwise, I think we would have went 3-0. Philadelphia allows a lot of shots, and he was just sitting at 27.5, but we'll take the 2-0 sweep. For those of you who have not signed up for prize picks yet, but want to get in on this action, I got a promo code that you should definitely take advantage of. When you're signing up, use my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF, and Prize Picks will give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Now, I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to repeat it once again. You don't have to put $100 in. You want to put in 50, they'll match 50. You want to put in 20, they'll match 20. They will match anything up to $100. Again, as long as you're using my promo code GRIFF, GRIFF, upon signing up. Now, on smaller slates like this, a 4-game slate, Prize Picks is a lot better with their lines, and rightfully so compared to an 11 or 12-game slate. So I want to go through these in detail here, do my research, and just like we've done all year long, I'm going to let you know my favorite picks in a comment below on this video, and I'll be sure to pin that comment as well. And just so all of you are aware, I have been posting those Prize Picks in my Discord channel as well, so if you get alerts on your Discord, probably best that you join that. Again, link in the description below to do so. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 4-game slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.